December 20th, 1984, Greeley, Colorado. Snow drifts quietly through the streets of a small, peaceful town preparing for Christmas. Inside homes, families decorate trees, wrap presents, and settle in for the night. At one house, a 12-year-old girl has just come home from singing Christmas songs. Within an hour, she will be gone. No one hears her scream. No neighbors report a struggle. No doors are broken. Just a garage door left open, shoes placed neatly by a heater, and footprints circling the house in fresh snow. For 35 years, the disappearance of Jonelle Renee Matthews would remain one of Colorado's most haunting mysteries. A case that helped change how America searched for missing children. This is her story. But before we get into today's case, I just want to say thank you. The support on this channel has been unreal, and I genuinely appreciate every single one of you who's liked, commented, or subscribed. We're still pushing toward our first big milestone, 500 subscribers by February, and if you enjoy true crime told through a comic-style lens, consider hitting that subscribe button. Now, let's tear into it. Jonelle Renee Matthews was born on February 9th, 1972, in Santa Barbara, California. Her birth mother, Terry Vieira, was just 13 years old, a child herself, facing an impossible decision. 6 weeks later, Jonelle was adopted by James and Gloria Matthews, a couple ready to give her a stable, loving home. They already had an older daughter, Jennifer, and welcomed Jonelle fully into their family. The Matthews family eventually moved to Greeley, Colorado, a tight-knit community where Jim Matthews became a respected elementary school principal. Jonelle grew into a bright, expressive child. She loved music, she loved school, and she especially loved singing. Friends and teachers described her as kind, gentle, and responsible, the kind of kid parents trusted to stay home alone for short periods. No red flags, no troubled home, no reason to run away. December 20th, 1984, was the last day of school before Christmas break. That evening, Jonelle performed with the Franklin Middle School Choir at a Christmas concert in Denver. Her mother was temporarily out of state, caring for an ill family member. Her father was attending her sister's basketball game. After the concert, Jonelle accepted a ride home with her friend Deanna and Deanna's father, Russ Ross. At 8:15 p.m., Jonelle was dropped off at her house. The neighborhood was quiet. The snow was fresh. Everything seemed normal. At approximately 8:30 p.m., Jonelle answered the phone. She took a message for her father. That call is the last confirmed moment anyone spoke to Jonelle Matthews. No one knows who called. No one knows what was said. And no one would see Jonelle alive again. Jonelle's father arrived home around 9:30 p.m. The garage door was open. Inside the house, everything was exactly where it should be, except Jonelle. Her shoes sat by the heater. Her shawl lay nearby. At 10 p.m., Jonelle's sister Jennifer came home. Still no sign of her. By 10:15 p.m., police were called. Officers searched the house and surrounding area. Outside, they found footprints in the snow, leading around the home and up to the windows, as if someone had been watching. There were no signs of forced entry. To Jim Matthews, one detail stood out above all else. Jonelle would never leave the house barefoot in freezing weather. Days turned into weeks. Searches expanded. Volunteers canvassed neighborhoods. Flyers appeared everywhere. Behind the scenes, police secretly placed Jonelle's birth mother, Terry Vieira, under surveillance. Without telling her Jonelle was missing, Terry had no idea the child she gave up years earlier had vanished. For the Matthews family, life froze in place. Every phone call brought hope. Every knock on the door brought dread. Christmas came and went. Jonelle never came home. Jonelle's case exploded into the national spotlight. Her face appeared on milk cartons, making her one of the first children featured in the program. President Ronald Reagan mentioned her by name in a speech. Her disappearance was read into the congressional record. Jonelle Matthews became a symbol, not just of one missing child, but of thousands. Yet, despite the attention, leads dried up. In 1994, 10 years after she vanished, Jonelle was declared legally dead. But the Matthews family never stopped waiting. In 1997, Terry Vieira hired a search consultant to find the child she had given up. When she reached out to the Matthews family, she learned the truth. Instead of anger, there was compassion. The two families connected through grief, bound by the same unanswered questions. Years later, Jonelle's parents moved overseas as missionaries. Her sister Jennifer married and moved on, but Jonelle's absence never faded. As technology advanced, investigators returned to Jonelle's case. Old witnesses were re-interviewed. Statements were re-examined. One man stood out, Steven Pankey. For years, he had inserted himself into the investigation, making strange claims, contradictory statements, and unsolicited confessions that always stopped just short of admitting guilt. In July 2019, construction workers installing a pipeline made a discovery no one expected: human remains. DNA testing confirmed the truth. They belonged to Jonelle Matthews. The cause of death? A gunshot wound to the head. After 35 years, Jonelle had been found. Attention turned to Steven Pankey, a man who had inserted himself into the investigation for years. He made bizarre statements, contradictory claims, confessions disguised as denials. His own wife later recalled suspicious behavior, sudden trips, digging in the yard, a car fire. Pankey insisted he was being framed. In 2020, he was indicted. Pankey's first trial ended in a mistrial. But in October 2022, a jury found him guilty of kidnapping and murdering Jonelle Matthews. He was sentenced to 20 years to life. Jonelle's family finally had answers, but nothing could give them back the time that was stolen. Jonelle Matthews was 12 years old. She loved music. She loved her family. She loved Christmas. Her story reminds us that silence doesn't mean forgotten, and that justice, no matter how delayed, still matters. If you remember Jonelle, then her voice is still being heard. Thanks for watching.